Menendez. When Parks and Rec ended in February, it felt like I lost a close friend. Well, a close friend that I watched from afar and never met in person. It also felt like I lost a lot of great business ideas. Snail mail, an escargot delivery service. Toddler cologne, promoted with the tagline, "Baby, you smell good." Saltines for tweens. All of these benefited from Aziz Ansari's comedic touch. Now the publishing industry is getting in on the magic. Ansari's new book, Modern Romance, which combines humor and cutting-edge social science to explore love in today's digital age, comes out today. Aziz joins us now. Aziz, you could have written a book about anything. Why Modern Romance?
I guess when I started writing the book, I was single and I was kind of going through the same nonsense everyone goes through, where you meet someone you really like and you text them, you don't hear back, and then you look on Instagram and they're posting a photo of a pizza and you're like, what's going on? And you realize like these kind of dilemmas, they seem like they're very personal, but they're actually quite universal and everyone has their version of it. And so I thought about writing a book and having it be kind of a sociology book, but also a humor book, and talking to academics and interviewing hundreds of people all over the country, all over the world, and kind of making it a real sociological project, but also have my sense of humor. I thought it'd be a cool book, and that's what I wrote, and I hope people like it.
So now that you have birthed this baby, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned?
The biggest lesson I've learned, I would say it's probably that it's probably better off to spend less time on your screens and more time in front of real people. And yeah, I'd say that's probably pretty big.
Oh, that sounds exhausting, Aziz. Let's talk about the paradox of choice. just yes, people in general. Let's talk about the paradox of choice. I myself am a maximizer. I'm terrible on a road trip. I'm always like, what's next? There's going to be something better. Let's not stop at McDonald's. Let's stop at the next place. Always sort of end up at McDonald's. Can a maximizer choose just one thing?
Well, the paradox of choice idea really plays a lot into the whole modern romance idea. For people that don't know, that idea is basically like, when you're making a decision, it seems like if you have more options, you'd be better off. But in truth, study after study shows the more options you have, the harder it is to make a choice, and the less satisfied you are when you do make the choice because you feel like maybe there was a better move you could have made. And with relationships now, we have more options than any generation of people that's ever tried to find someone. With online dating and everything, just a longer period of time in your life you're single, you just meet so many people, and people do say they get kind of caught up in just the amount of options. And I think the answer is you just kind of have to give people a chance before you're ready to move on to the next one. Just because there are so many options, you're never going to be able to meet all the options. Like, how many people do you have to meet before you think you've met the best person? You'd have to meet every single person there is. It is impossible. So I do think people are kind of quick to not give people enough of a chance. And again, there's a lot of science that shows the more time we spend with people, the more we get to know deeper things about them, and the more likely we're kind of able to form a deeper connection. So, I kind of, after the book, our conclusion was kind of like, people are kind of like Drake songs. The first time you hear them, you're like, oh, all right, Drake, I've heard this before, whatever. But after a while, you're like, oh my God, Drake, you've done it again. This is a hit.
I do love Drake, so yes, I understand. I understand that. Now, it is my understanding that you have never dated online, nor have I. I mean, I didn't use the apps. I got married before the apps came out. So my question is, how do you think you would have done dating online?
Yeah, I never did it because I was scared being a public person that I would get murdered or something, so I never did it. But I think I would have done pretty well. The main thing that we learned about the online dating stuff is the people that were happy doing it did more of the dating part than the online part. They just messaged people a couple of times and they ended up meeting with them in person. The people that were miserable were the ones that are like spending hours like going through profiles and trying to craft this perfect message, and none of that matters. You really just want to meet these people in person and see if you can have a connection.
So I'm sure you learned a lot about dating from the female perspective writing this book. If you were a woman, what would be your approach to dating?
The dates we go on, we found are really boring, and they kind of set us up to fail. Like, if you're just going to get coffee or just going to get a drink, like, tell this dummy, like, hey, let's do something a little bit cooler. How about we do this? And just, like, propose something that's, like, a fun thing, like, you'd want to do on your own anyway. And like, that was the kind of an idea we came up with called the monster truck rally theory, which is basically the idea that, like, you have more fun doing something interesting and weird and exciting, like going to a monster truck rally with someone, because then you're in this kind of weird environment. You get a sense of what it's really like to be with this person than if you just went and had a coffee and like said, my sibling went to this college and then my parents are still living here, and did this kind of boring resume exchange that, you know, a lot of people end up doing on dates that kind of exhausts them.
I think you just told me that I would be terrible online dating because I would have taken a lot of men to musical theater. So thank you. Now I no longer have
In the drink or coffee.
All right, Aziz Ansari, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.